Hi, Physics Land. Hour 3, I am going to miss you today, but I want to give you a little quick video instruction to let you know a little bit about a few things. First of all, knowing a little bit about our plans for Friday, whether you're going to Great America or not going. Making sure we review a little bit on the homework worksheet that we had gotten from Tuesday, involving finding the height of the flagpole, which will then mean finding the height of a roller coaster. And then finally looking at what kind of expectations we have for our Great America trip packet. And we're going to be doing a little homework sheet that will lead into that. And yeah, this video will help to get you there. If you have any questions, please email me so I can help you out and get you on track. Have a super awesome day. Okay, first thing now, I want you to pull out your height calculations, your height worksheet that you got on Tuesday. And remember, with this height sheet, we were using an equation that I want to make sure you guys have written down in your notes and that you have available, and obviously that you have on this worksheet. And that's this H equation, this height equation. Remember, as you're looking through each of these answers here, so you're going to pause it in just a little bit. As you're looking through these answers, make sure that you identify whether or not they're talking about the angle of elevation, which we call phi. It's that little eye with a little circle around it. What is that, like the L for us is always going to mean the length between our first reading, our first protractor reading, or first elevation reading, and our second one. So L is the length for us is always going to be 10 meters. Now sometimes you need to convert that 10 meters into feet. And make sure that as you're going through these and you're looking at this, that we're looking at whether or not we're given information about feet or if we're given information about meters. Make sure you're consistent. Make sure you're consistent with what you're working with. So we have 1, 2, 3. As you see in problem number 3, there are 2 different sets of problems. So what I'd like you to do now is pause this. Go through these answers. Make sure you feel comfortable with it, that you understand what's happening. And remember, when you find your height, you're taking your H value, and then you add on your eyeball height. So you're taking, to find your overall height, you take your H value, whatever you solve using this trig function, add on your eyeball height, and that's how you get your overall height. Make sure your answers correspond with the answers on this worksheet and also in parentheses. And look at that 1, 2, 3. If you have questions, ask your peers. And in the end, I'd like you to turn this worksheet into the sub. So when you're done, pause it, look through this, make sure you're good to go, and then turn the worksheet into the sub so that we can collect that and give you points for it. Okay, so now you should have your worksheet turned in, your homework sheet, but now I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do to prepare for Friday. So on Friday, if you are going to Great America, I need you to meet at 7:55 in the middle room. So at 7:55, you need to be here, please. You're immediately going to get into a group of 3 to 5 people, from my class. It has to be void people. Void people, 3 to 5 people in a group. You can name your group, whatever you want to do. Get into your group. You don't have to spend all day with this group, just for a couple minutes to collect the data. You're going to turn in that group list, and then immediately at 7:55, then you're going to get the supply packet. Yep, supple, whatever. Anyway, supply packet. You're going to get your supply packet. I'm going to write down your number, and then you are going to be good to go on that front. You're then going to go and go onto the bus. Well, you're going to notice that you're immediately going to have a bag search, so please listen carefully to this one. The bag will be searched. You need to make sure that you don't have anything in your bag. Don't have also, and this is the one that's a little weird, make sure you don't have any open bottles, whether it's an open water bottle or an open Gatorade bottle. Everything needs to be sealed. And if it's sealed, you can bring it on. If not, they're going to throw it away. Now, make sure to bring a writing utensil. Bring money for lunch. You're not going to be able to bring and keep things in your bus. And also, you can't bring food or bag lunches into the park. So make sure to bring money for lunch or lockers, and also bring a calculator for the bus. In order to re-enter on the bus, I need you to show me that you have your group's data sheet. One ride. You're going to have one ride. I'm going to show you what the data sheet looks like in a bit. For your group, I'd recommend once you collect your data, you can just fill it on one sheet. Take a picture of it, email it, message it to everyone in your group so that they all have a copy of it so they can show it to me when they enter the bus. In addition, you're going to turn in your group supply packet when you re-enter the bus too. So kind of the general prep. If you are not going to Great America, you need to be going over into class just like you normally would. In class, you're going to be getting your data. They'll be giving you a data sheet. Your data sheet's going to have all the data that we need, and then your responsibility will be going and analyzing that data. If you finish that up before you leave, awesome. The key, though, in all this is that Great America packets are due Monday. Due Monday at the beginning of the hour, or you will get a lunch DT. You'll get a lunch detention. So make sure you get that completed, fully completed by the time you get to class on Monday. There will also be a little helpful hints as you go along in your packet to make sure you're good to go. But I need you to make sure you have that done. If you have questions as you're working on it, whether you're working on it at Great America, whether you're working on it on the weekend, make sure you ask me those questions before you get to class so you can turn in your packet right away. Now, so day 3 of our preparation, we went over what we found. We've been able to find the velocity of our roller coaster. So we were looking at our roller coaster here, and we said, okay, we're really interested in finding out information at the top. And the reason why we're interested in finding out that information at the top is we want to find our total energy. And we found out that our total energy is actually going to be equal to our kinetic energy plus our potential energy. And this is our kinetic energy at the top and our potential energy at the top. So on the first day, we went and found our strategy velocity at the top, and we're going to use that to find our kinetic energy. We also went through and we used Tuesday, we went and found the height using our protractor, using our simple sextant. And we were able to use our height calculations and our height equation to find then our potential energy. So with that information, we're going to be able to find our total energy. And that's going to be our key for being able to figure out and analyze the rest of the roller coaster. As we're going through this, when we want to find how our data collection is going to work. And what you're going to notice is that when you get to class on Friday, whether you're going or not, you're going to have a card that's going to look like this. If you're not going to Great America, these data will be entered in. If you are going to Great America, this blue data is going to be empty, and you're going to fill in that information. The first thing you can notice on here is that you're going to have some personal information that you're going to want to collect before you get on to your trip. So your personal data is going to involve your mass in kilograms. So you can convert your weight in pounds into kilograms, which I can help you out with a little bit, or go on to Google and type in your weight and enter in kilograms. I don't care what number you use. If you want to go in, record or fill in your ideal weight, an extreme weight. You're going to be using this mass value, though, for calculating our energy values. So you're going to use this mass value to calculate your energy values throughout the trip. You're also going to go over here, and before you leave today, you're going to want to know your eyeball height. So your eyeball height in meters. So use the tape measure, use a meter stick, find a way to figure out your eyeball height before you get on. So this is stuff you should all do before you leave. Now, let's look at the rest of these calculations, and that should help you out as you're moving along in understanding what you need to collect and what you're going to need to figure out more information on. So just a couple of reminders here. When you're going through and you're looking at your mass, you're going to want to use units of kilograms. And this is your conversion factor. So 2.2 pounds, remember this is a weight value. And we're converting this into a mass on Earth. And when we do that, because we're on Earth, we're using our acceleration due to gravity of 9.8 meters per second squared. Now what you notice is that when you collect your data, you're actually going to be collecting data at 3 separate points. At the highest point on your roller coaster, a middle point that you pick, and the lowest point. So let's see if I can draw. It's going to look something like that. There's my roller coaster. Your top point, you're going to be having up here. This top point, you're going to want to collect protractor readings. You're going to use your protractor approach and use your protractor to go and find your top height. You're also going to find your top velocity. So you're going to find your top height value. You're also going to use your top velocity by going over and using this information to go and figure out how fast it's moving at the top, its velocity at the top. Then you're going to go through and you're going to want to pick some middle arbitrary point on your roller coaster. And I'm picking my arbitrary point as being somewhere there, the middle of my roller coaster. To do that, you're going to want to use your protractor again and find the height at that location. You don't need to find velocity, just the height. Then at the way bottom point, you're going to estimate how high off the ground that is. If it's below the ground, you're going to want to make it negative. If it's at At ground level, call it 0 meters. If it's above the ground, estimate. Is it 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters off the ground? So you're not going to use a protractor for that. You're just going to estimate it. And that's all the data you're actually going to collect while you're at Great America. This is what I expect you to have a picture of. This data, if you're going to be on the trip, show me a picture of that data so that you can go and make sure that you're ready and prepared for doing all the other calculations you need to do. Now, with this information, the key is remembering that your total energy stays the same. Your total energy is going to always be the same throughout the whole experience. It's made up of your potential and your kinetic. And as you go from the top of your roller coaster where you have a whole lot of potential, it's going to cause my potential, as you move down the roller coaster, cause your potential to go down and your kinetic to go up. And that's going to be exchanging in and out. But throughout it all, total stays the same. Now, once you keep going, now I want you to see if you can go over to make sure the sub and ask the sub to give you the worksheet. The worksheet that we have here. The worksheet is going to have a roller coaster on it. At the top, it says Six Flags Great America Field Trip, Conservation of Energy Calculations. And it's going to have a little table like this. So get that from the sub. You'll see that all this data over here, the stuff that we just looked at from before, is all going to be available. And this is exactly the kind of idea of what you're going to be doing at Great America. You're going to collect your data, and then you're going to do an energy analysis for that one roller coaster. You're only picking one, and only I'm allowing you to pick. So I'll give you that information in just a moment. But as you're going through this, let's see if we can kind of get a little idea as to how this information is all going to play out. Now, when we're looking at the A part is going to be the top of our roller coaster. So we're looking at the top. B is going to be the middle, and D is going to be the bottom. Now, at the beginning, you're going to want to go and find and use your highest points, your A points, and you're going to want to use your protractor readings. Those are your two protractor readings. Remember, you need to convert those protractor readings into your angle of elevation. And you're going to use those within this sine equation, the sine trig equation there, and you're going to want to use that using an L value of 10. So L is going to be 10 meters for us. You're going to go through and find your H, calculate your H. But you're not quite done. You want to find your overall height. Your overall height not only is your H, but it's also going to be your eyeball height. So you're going to take this H value plus your eyeball height in meters. And now you know your elevation. Then you're going to go through and for the top, and you're going to use the information for your train. We figured out how far apart each of our rows were on our train. This is what we did on Monday. How far apart each of the rows of our train are and how many rows there were. And you're going to want to use your velocity equation. The velocity is going to be equal to the length of the train, which you're going to get from these numbers. And we found the time for our train to pass by that top point, that A point. How long, so you're going to use your stopwatch, figure out how long it takes for that full train to go from the beginning of the train to the end and pass by a certain given point. Once you do that, you're going to find your velocity at the top. Now, it's energy stuff. Now that we know about our elevation is going to help us with potential energy. Potential energy, remember, PE equals mgy. My m is actually going to be coming from my mass up here. My g is going to be 9.8 meters per second squared. And my y value is actually going to be your big H, your capital H value. How high off the ground are you? And now you know your PE. Remember what units do we use for PE? Joules. So you know your PE. Now you're also going to go through and you're going to want to use this to find your KE also. So you're also going to use your velocity value here to find your KE. Remember your kinetic energy equation equals 1/2 mv squared. Once again, your m is going to come from your mass in kilograms. Your velocity is the one you calculated from the top. You're going to plug that in. Find your KE. Then you're going to go through it and you're going to find your total energy. Total energy is going to be your PE plus your KE, and it's going to give you some value. Now the key is that all this total energy should all be the same. So once you know this total energy, you can write that down in each of these additional boxes. Now, let's look at our middle part. Our middle piece, you're going to be able to find your height by doing the same thing we did for the elevation above, but by using our middle elevation protractor reading values. Use that to go and find your H value, find your capital H value. Once you know that, you're able to find your PE. Now, you don't know your VE, so you're going to want to calculate this. So you're not going to be able to calculate it using data. You're going to want to find your V value. But you don't know information, so you're going to have to find your KE first. Find your KE first, and then use that to find your V. Now, for the bottom, all we know about the bottom from our data is the estimated elevation height. And you're going to be able to automatically put that in then, and automatically plug in that elevation for your here to be 2 meters. Now, all the rest, you calculate using your potential energy, kinetic energy equations, and go from there. This worksheet then, the answers will be posted online, but I want you to finish this up in class. So once again, one last thing, your conservation of energy worksheet, this one, the one you just have, that's going to be due by the end of the hour, and definitely have that completed before you come to class on Friday or before you go to Great America. Like I said, answers are going to be posted on Blackboard, and what I want you to do before you leave today, is make sure you know your eyeball height in meters and your mass in kilograms. Other than that, if you have any questions, email me. Let me know if I can help you swing by sometime later today. I should be back in the afternoon. And yeah, have fun.